Record. Hello and welcome. You're watching Vision Plus. Without a vision, the people perish, and we want you to read Proverbs every day. I read it the day that it's going on, whatever day this happens to be, the 10th of May, 2011. It doesn't matter if it's 2111. It's a good thing to read the Proverbs. Now, I happen to be on location in Hamden, Massachusetts with my niece's husband, Bill Decoteau, who is a bass fisherman and other things, and you may remember him from the Master Bass Mega Bass Tournament in Guntersville, Alabama, our great bassing place. Welcome, Bill.
Well, thank you, Bonnie, for having me on your show. I greatly appreciate it. And you know,
you may need to project a little bit more with the traffic going by. Now, I know you can do that.
I can do that.
He was performing a wedding ceremony of his very own son, baby son, this past weekend, so I know he can project. He didn't even need a microphone. So, Bill, I want you to tell us a little bit about your sponsors, first of all, and how long you've been fishing, and how you got so fortunate to have sponsors.
Well, first of all, I've been blessed, and as long as I've been fishing, it's probably as long as I can remember. But as you very well know, I waited till my boys pretty much grew up and coached them before I really got involved into the professional aspect of fishing and writing. And I'm happy to be here.
You write a column for a magazine?
By all means, we have several websites. You can log on to thebassbureau.com as well as bassbureau.com, and you can go ahead and take a look at our websites there. We are under construction on a couple of them, but they're still interactive where you can go ahead and log on. I am an outdoor writer. I have written for Bassmasters and some with FLW. I have monthly columns that run all year long in fishing and hunting magazines, and I have just been blessed. Absolutely blessed.
I know I've been here 5 days, and all he does is on that computer writing Bassmaster, well, you correct me, don't
Well,
hesitate.
actually, the article I just finished was for Northwood Sporting Journal. It's a publication that's out of Maine, and it's huge across the entire United States.
Well, you just got back from Maine. Tell us about that trip and what you were doing there,
Actually,
Bill.
every spring I go to Maine, in the central Maine area, just north of Augusta, and I have been emceeing. We've done television shows, and I've even fished a tournament, and it's Maine Special Olympic. It's the only tournament in Maine that has received a guaranteed date, guaranteed May 1st every single year for as long as they shall run it. It's 22 years old. We set an awesome record this year by collecting $11,800 for all the Special Olympians there in Maine. A combination of entry fees, donations, prizes, and you can go on and on. And there's more to come due to the East Wentworth Police Department are raffling off a Harley-Davidson 2011 Classic. So that's a pretty neat deal, and all the proceeds from that will go to the Maine Special Olympics.
And just because my niece has this handsome man, she's just as beautiful as he is handsome, that doesn't mean that that's all the men, that only the handsome men get to go fishing. My husband and grandson went to not Alaska, to Canada and fished for a couple of weeks, and they quit counting at 1,000 fish. So I know that it's a really exciting thing, but women also fish a lot. In fact, my brother's wife, Alice Taylor, loved to fish, and Bill's wife, Tricia, who's charge nurse at the Bay State Hospital.
Correct.
In
the operating room for orthopedics.
Yeah, in what city?
That's in Springfield, Massachusetts.
In Springfield, Massachusetts, because these, Connecticut and Massachusetts are all very close together right here. So it's really exciting just to be here and see this incredible place. I'm telling you, it's something you need to do.
This isn't downtown Boston, folks. We're in Western Mass.
That's right.
You can see all the mountains, and it won't surprise me if we see a horse go by or somebody's cow breaks out and runs loose.
I even saw the goats, and I think
You did see the goats. And the
Okay,
turkey.
tell me some of your, apparently Nitro is the name.
Yeah, I'm sponsored by USA Marine out of Worcester. It's the largest nitro dealer in the world. Actually, Worcester, Massachusetts, yeah. And I run a Z9, of which we're sitting in right now, the top of the line. Same boat as Kevin Van Dam runs, good friend of mine. And I'm sponsored by Mercury Outboards. I run a 250 Mercury Pro XS Optimax, and Motor Guy trolling motors. Those are my marine sponsors right here. And of course, I have a variety of sponsors for tackle.
Yeah, let's see some of this tackle.
Sure.
It's beautiful, and if you touch it, girls, you'd love to touch it.
What I'd like to show you, actually, are the baits that we just used. You know, I know how important the Lord is to Bonnie and to all of you watching.
And to all of you.
Absolutely.
Everything in his house is.
Everything.
That
I was up in Maine every year when I do that Special Olympics. I go and fish with a very good Christian friend of mine, Dave Barnes. Dave is absolutely fantastic. He and I will sit down and pray before we go out fishing. And the article that will be coming out in the June issue of Northwood Sporting Journal will tell all about our time on the water. And we utilized some baits out there, and we were blessed because we had cold front conditions come in the night before, bluebird skies, a slight breeze. The only two things we had going for us was the fact that the water was going to be warming up and the sun was shining. And with Dave's knowledge, we were able to put together one of the largest stringers that we have in the last 8 to 10 years that we've been doing this. So let me tell you a little bit about what we did. We utilized a jerk bait, and that's what this is. This is an XRM reaction strike rip minnow, and it suspends. It works 4 to 6 feet under the water. This is an American shad color, and I'm not sure if it's glimmering or not.
It looks. It is.
and this is a particular 4-inch model. We use this to resemble the shad that are in the water, and we also utilized a smaller size, which is the XRM reaction strike 80. Now this one will also go 4 to 6 feet, all right? However, what we have to do is use a lighter line. You notice I have this little clip on here. A lot of the pro anglers won't use it, some of them do. Mark Menendez, for example, I'm sure you folks have heard of him. Mark is a good Christian fella out of Paducah, Kentucky, and Pete Glusick utilizes these clips. It allows us to change baits quickly. Once we find exact bait and exact size that's working, we'll then go ahead and tie it straight on. But we use this pumpkin seed bait, and on top of that, and these are all rip baits and swim baits, we utilized this castaic rainbow trout. Now up here in the Northeast, rainbow trouts are stocked in the waters, and this is a perfect size for the bass we were after. This particular bait has what we call a line through. You see the line goes through, and it has a magnetic designed by castaic baits to hold your hook in place. That helps to eliminate the fish from throwing your bait.
Now, how's that different from what you would use in like Gunnersville when you were there at the Master?
Yeah, actually at Lake Gunnersville, I did use some similar baits, except for we were in a fall pattern there. Our water temperature up in Maine at this time was in the high 40s, 48, 49. The lake that we ended up going to for our article was actually 50 and eventually got up to 60. When I was on Gunnersville, that water temperature was in the high 70s and low 80s, and those fish were on a fall feeding frenzy. But we did use some baits that were similar, and the baits that we used were called lipless crankbaits or rattling crankbaits, and one of the neat baits that are out there right now is this Reaction Strike Revolution Rattling Shad. I hope you can hear that.
Oh, we can.
That is absolutely fantastic. Sound travels like about 10 times faster underwater than it does in the air. This is the most realistic and swimming. You can notice that it has these sections. It actually has two hooks like a normal rattling bait, lipless crankbait. It is a lipless crankbait, but because of those rattles, you can actually vertical jig that. You can rip it through the grass. You can fish it fast or slow. I found out that, believe it or not, in that cold water, by burning this, reeling as fast as I could, with, in this particular case, a 6.5 to 1 gear ratio, U.S. reels, Dion and Guido Hipton designed this particular reel. I was able to get those bass to hit it, and especially a smallmouth at first. But those are the differences.
Didn't one of your guys have a fish and you said, I can't talk to you because I have one too? Tell me about that story.
Yeah, we really did. That was absolutely great. Dave was fishing at the particular time. He was throwing a bait exactly like this, only in a different color. He was throwing in what's called sexy, and that is like a light blue with a chartreuse stripe through it. Same color that Kevin Van Dam won the Bassmaster
Now you have to
Classic
tell
on.
who Kevin
Oh,
Van
everybody
Dam is.
out there who fishes in the world knows Kevin Van Dam.
Yeah, but us women want to know too.
Oh, you'd like to know him. He's a good-looking guy, but he's married.
Oh, so am I. My husband won't let me fool around.
Kevin Van Dam is a great fella, and not only that, he is a great mentor to children.
But you were
and
there
whatnot.
fishing with Dave.
I was
What
fishing
happened?
with Dave, and as we had spent about 2 hours on the water, and finally were able to realize that these fish had actually stayed shallow, even though the water was a bit colder. So they had stayed on wood. What bass will do is they'll come out as the springtime comes. They'll start moving up out of deeper water. Once again, the lower heat rises, and there's ice on our water on the top, so that's kind of cool. And as that melts, the heat from below starts rising, and the bass come up, follow the bait fish. They were in 2 to 3 feet right off of 8 to 10, 12-foot shells, which meant they dropped real fast, and then it was a big flat, and they were on wood. Dave and I were up front on his boat, and he made a cast. We're 45 in the bank so that our bait stays in the strike zone longer, using 2 different baits so that we could entice the bass with different size. Dave hooked onto a fish, and he goes, oh, I've got one. Now the fish was coming straight at me, so I just lifted my rod up over Dave. He walked to the back side of the front deck, and I went to the front, and Dave goes, get the net. And as he did that, the fish that was trailing it ate my bait. And I said, I can't get the net, you know? So I have a fish on, he has a fish on. That's called the double. Dave reaches down, gets his fish, which is about 6 pounds. Now, he said that the fish following was bigger. Well, as it turned out, I was catching smallest fish. And actually, this was the bait that I was throwing, and that exact same color, pumpkin seed. And I pulled it in. Dave sees my fish, and it's probably just under 4 pounds. And we figured Dave's to be about 6 pounds. He reaches down, nets it. So we have between 9 and 10 pounds in this one net, and it was hilarious because that's 2 casts, 10 pounds, 9, 10 pounds, and that doesn't always happen. Well, from that point on, the Lord blessed us. We knew where these fish were, and we just went down 200 yards, and we caught 35 to 40 bass there before we moved to another area where I think we both died and went to heaven. It was that good. Every bass in this back bay, which was very, very shallow, the smallest fish was about 3 pounds, and the biggest one was over 6. You'll see that picture in the Northwood Sporting Journal June issue.
And now how can they get that Northwood Sporting Journal?
Oh, yeah, you can simply log on to sportingjournal.com and see their website. Go there and give them a call or whatever, and they'll be happy to send you an issue.
Probably an email.
Drop an email to Bonnie. You can drop an email to me as well. And my email address is Bassin, that's BASSINWDEC @AOL.com. But make sure you put a subject that, Bonnie, the name of the show is?
Vision Plus.
Put Vision Plus down, otherwise you're going into spam and you'll be deleted.
Okay. Now, you have sponsors. What about the Bass Bureau? That is actually the name of the show and an article, too.
Yeah, actually it's the name of one of my columns. That is in my oldest running column. That has been running for probably about 15, oh my goodness, I hate to even count it, but someplace between 15 and 18 years. And that's, you can find that on Woods and Waters USA. And you can simply just Google or log on to woodsandwaters.com, and I'm sure you'll be able to look up the Bass Bureau. The Bass Bureau is the name of the column, and the name of the television show is The Bass Bureau, where the road meets the water.
Yes, and that's the name of your boat, too.
The Bass Bureau, well, that's the logo. This is actually the logo, Bonnie. That's my son Scott designed. He's a graphic artist, and he designed that for me along with a new
Works for
wrap
Logo,
for my boat.
in fact, the Logo Company. He just got back from England, Europe, I think, with the Logo Company.
That's
with
right.
the Lego Company. I'm getting Lego
Scott
and
is a
Logo.
graphic artist for Lego out of Denmark.
Uh-huh. And he got to go there, so they got an incredible family. His new daughter-in-law, as of a few days ago, speaks 4 languages, and they're over in Italy on their honeymoon. Wouldn't let any of us go with them.
They're on the island of Malta, and actually
Where
Heather
St.
works
Paul
for
was there.
an international company, which which is actually based in Italy, and she works out of Boston, as does Seth with his music in the music industry.
And he has his own label
Yes, he
company.
does,
And
yeah.
what is the name of that?
The name of his record label is Top Shelf Records, and you can simply log topshelfrecords.com.
Uh-huh. So we got a lot of great things going on with this family, and my niece being the charge nurse, we've kidded her for now the past week about no matter what happens, she's in charge. And she can always say, I can handle that. I can do that for you. Don't worry about it. I'll handle it. And we said, of course, you're the charge nurse. And she's worked in nursing for many years. In fact, this gorgeous home, I'm just going to go around a little tiny bit to show you a little bit. They designed it and built it, and it's 3 levels and absolutely gorgeous on 10 acres of land right here in Hamden, Massachusetts. So back to the fishing and boating. Tell me what your plans are for the next year.
Well, as you may remember, actually Trish is my assistant director. We run a trail here in Massachusetts, and it's nationwide, USA Bassin, and you can log on to usabassin.com. You can read my columns
And it's
there.
like BASSIN.
Correct, USA.
Not the G on the end.
BASSIN, right, .com. I am a national writer for them. You can homepage, just scroll down, you'll see my picture, my name, and you can click on some of the columns.
He won't have his sunglasses on then.
These are Wiley X sunglasses.
Oh, and tell us about that camera that you have there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got to find out about that.
This is really, really neat. This was designed by a Bentley graduate by the name of Randy Peterson.
And now, who's a Bentley graduate? What do you mean?
Randy, the fellow that designed this. This is called the Hat Cam. And Randy designed this hookup. This is actually just a flip camera, and just about any camera will fit onto this. But my good friend Mike Iaconelli, and Mike is a world champion. Mike Iaconelli and Pete Glusick run the Bass University, and I think we talked about that years ago. What's so unique about it, Bonnie, I'm going to give away my age now. Both Mike Iaconelli, world champion, Pete Glusick, one of the top anglers in the Northeast, plus has a teaching school.
Okay. Keep talking.
Mike has this on his show, and Mike is traveling. It's called Go Ike, Going Ike, and it's Never Give Up. We wear this.
I love that. Never give up.
Never give up.
That's what we need to all remember.
Amen.
We're going through tornadoes in many of the southern states, and we need to just remember, never give up. No matter what happens to us. Tony and I have been in a tornado years before, and that's a good thing for all of us to do, is never give up.
Well, that's so true, and that phrase has been patented by Mike, as well as Never Stop Learning. And you can also log on to thebassuniversity.com, and you can read some of my articles there, see some of our television shows. I MC and host that entire program with Mike and Pete, and I'm honored to be able to help promote this webcam right here called Hat Cams. But it's a fishing tool. It's not, and it's absolutely fantastic, because you can be going down a bank that you've never fished before, or an area you never fished before, flip on your hat cam, and it can go ahead and record every place you were. So if it wasn't productive, you can erase it. It has 2 hours of constant running. The best part about it is you can actually log the fish you're catching as well. So it's really neat. And you can go onto YouTube and see these. Just go ahead and Google hat cams. It just screws on. It does, Bonnie. It just screws on. And this is actually what's so nice about it is this is a wide angle lens. This is a wide angle lens that works. It just screws right on and any camera will fit. But what's so neat about it is this is extremely durable. And you can go Ike. You can go Ike. And I was going to tell you what, if you go ahead and give them a call, their number's online for hat cams, HATCAMS.com. You tell them when you call that Billy Hawkeye Decoteau told you about them, and I guarantee you they'll give you a nice discount on them. And that's Ike's hat, comes in red and black.
Your name that some people have given you, and that's what you're known about in the fishing world, isn't it? Hawkeye.
What's that, Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, part of my fishing show is utilization of motorcycles. And the way we do that, I have worked with veterans over the years, and we actually have a 3-man bass tournament, Bonnie, that we do. And for the 2nd year, we've already received approval from West Point Military Academy. We will be going up on September 28th to the West Point Military Academy in Highland Falls, New York, for our 2nd annual bass fishing tournament for paralyzed and disabled anglers with active and retired military volunteer boat captains.
Oh, that is so exciting. And you got to tell me about the motorcycle.
Yeah, well, what will happen is we ride the motorcycles. We'll put together what
kind, brand?
Harley Davidson.
Okay.
Harley Davidson.
In your garage is a Honda.
I do. I have a
Honda. What is it?
I have a trailer. I
and
have
a Honda.
Well, that actually is a moped, right?
Oh, okay.
That's a little moped, but we don't use that on it. We go back and forth to the grocery store, that rascal.
Oh, okay.
But we utilize the Harleys and the Nam Knights and Rolling Thunder. These guys come, they help us to lift out the paralyzed veterans into the boaters' boats. Then they go for a motorcycle ride while we're out fishing. Sometimes it's a benefit ride to help raise money to offset the cost of the tournament. But in Plattsburgh, New York, we actually had a 10-man tournament with the Bass Pros from the FLW Stren Series. On top of that, we had the mayor get into my boat while I hooked up with my good friend Casey Spiegel, and we escorted the entire entourage back to the Creed Center while a whole group of motorcyclists and antique cars went along the Intercoastal, raising money for the paralyzed veterans.
People are ready to have more of their toys for boys and men and retired people and people just getting started in the back. They can talk to you about what to buy in all of these or try them out, and that'd be a great idea. And I'm sorry I'm getting this at an angle because you got me set up here in the boat with. This is pretty amazing what you've done.
That's actually designed by Randy. That's a gorilla grip that will wrap around just about anything.
But since I'm running this, I'm losing my gorilla grip there once in a while because I'm trying to go in a different
You need some gorilla glue to hold it down, huh?
I guess I do. Okay, so let's go over again who your sponsors are.
Sure.
And some of the things that you do and how people can get back in touch with you.
Well, when it comes to line, I've been with Seaguar Fluorocarbon. They're the #1 fluorocarbon in the world, and this particular is their Abraze-X line. And for fluorocarbon, like I said, it's Seaguar. I also want to talk about this real quick. This is double structure, extremely strong. It's called Tatsu. It's made in Japan, and it is the strongest, most durable fluorocarbon available, and Tatsu means dragon. And
okay, is that like a line?
That's line.
Like a fishing line?
Fishing line,
right. You got talking girl language too.
Well, fishing line comes in fluorocarbon, comes in monofilament, and comes in braid. Those are your 3 basics. And when it comes to fluorocarbon, I use strictly one line, and that is Seaguard. My braided line is Castaic Warrior line. Now, this is a soft braid. And what that means is that the line itself is very, very soft. It's not stiff like a lot of the braids that are out there, and it won't tangle up as easily. It also makes less noise going through your line guides and on the water. So that's something we really like. These reels are U.S. reels, a factory out of Missouri, I believe it is, and these are so affordable and so durable. And if you notice, they have a real wide spool on top
We're
of
going to
that.
have to get back to you on YouTube in the next show. I want to thank you very much, Bill Decoteau, along with Bonnie Libhart, on location in Hamden, Massachusetts, and you're watching Vision Plus. Bless your heart for watching.
God bless you and thank you.
We were at the end of our time.